I was an emo kid. Like the hair was in my face. I had teachers multiple times be like, I can't tell which side is the front or the back of you.
Welcome to Court Captains Volleyball Podcast,
where we talk all things Pro Volleyball Federation.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Ian.
And today we're talking 7 matches in 7 days. We're so tired. Are you tired?
We're tired.
It's a lot of volleyball.
You're tired. The players are tired. There's tiredness. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Court Captains Pod. While you're tired, go check out Instagram. First up, before we dive into all of these matches, we do have some things to talk about. It's pronunciations corner to start. Kelly,
Yes.
do you want to give any of the pronunciations you heard?
Yes. So
we all need to collectively correct.
First off, our girl LMM, who had an amazing week. Lekator member Mena, just throwing that pronunciation out there. I don't know how we've been pronouncing it. I can't honestly remember.
I can't remember. I think it's been different.
There was quite the discussion in the YouTube chat on Wednesday's game, and then the announcers corrected it for Saturday's game. And so I just want to also correct it here. Mena.
For the record, we're learning.
For the record, Mena.
The other thing is, it does seem, as a note, it does seem to be, we're starting to learn more about which productions are paying attention to the YouTube chat. For instance, I don't think San Diego's paying any attention at all. But
yeah,
Vegas has seen, Atlanta has seen, right? Sometimes there's like producers in the chat, like checking stuff out. So we've got different levels, different orgs are doing different things, but Atlanta, right? Atlanta saw.
Yep. They specifically called out, we saw the comments in the YouTube chat.
They said we get it. Y'all reel it in,
Everyone, be on your best behavior. Also, be nice.
Because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah, you don't know who's watching. It could be the Vibe broadcast team.
Yeah, the FBI.
or the FBI. The other pronunciation that I've read in the chat is that it's HIPAA or maybe HIPAA. Those sound the same to me.
So, yeah,
you said the same thing.
Can I give a German lesson?
German, thank you. Yes.
Yes, I have taken a few years of German. I'm now mostly at Duolingo, not really speaking it much. But generally, when there's an e at the end, it's like an sound. So HIPAA.
What I read was like a UH or an EH. And when I tried to pronounce those, they did come out the same.
Yeah.
But the key for Saskia's last name is that it's not hippie.
No.
70s piece. It's not hippie.
Nope. HIPAA.
So actually, ending both the same. Remember your uhs.
Nice.
All right. That's
Amazing.
our pronunciation corner. A few other hot items of news that we're going to talk about.
The hot goss.
The hot goss. Well, this wasn't goss. They did announce that the championship series of the 2024 inaugural PVF season is going to be at Omaha. Frankly, I would have bet on this.
Yeah.
And I would have been right.
Yep.
They've got the crowds.
They've got the crowds. They've got the larger arena.
They got the infrastructure in the city.
Indeed.
Honestly, I want to encourage, there were some people lamenting about this, and I want to encourage people to go to Omaha. If you've never been to Omaha, great city.
Yeah.
Very
Take a
fun.
drive. Wait, have you been there like for fun?
Yeah. My cousin lives there. And also we played there like almost every year in college.
Okay.
I've spent some time.
All right. Well, then you heard it here first, folks.
Great food. I've actually been to a
Don't say sushi.
I've been to a pretty good sushi restaurant there.
No. Actually, there was a sushi restaurant that did sponsor all of the players. They all went to a sushi restaurant. Here's the really fun thing
I
about...
don't know which one it was. I bet it was the one I went to.
It was probably the same one. I didn't even write this down as like a topic to talk about, but I just thought of it. The players, I love thinking about like the different ways that they're being compensated as professional athletes. And what I need you to know is that all of the Omaha Supernovas at some point, maybe week like 7, went to this same sushi restaurant and they tagged it. And they're like, oh, the 5-course blah, blah, blah was so good. And I was like, get your bag, girls. And then I believe that Mojo all got watches last week.
What kind?
Nice.
I don't remember the brand. That would require me to remember ads. But it
Casio.
They all got digital Casio watches. So they all got watches. Very excited for them. One team, I don't remember, maybe Grand Rapids, they all got facials one week from the same place, the same spot. They're all tagging
I love that
it.
they're all getting these promotions.
Me too. Love
Good
it.
for you.
So yeah, I thought of that because of the Omaha sushi restaurant. Continue to get your bag, ladies. We really love it. So yeah, the championship series, it's going to be, as we suspected, I think, and have kind of talked about, whatever the standings are at the end of the season, which I believe the last match is the 13th of May. It's a Monday. The top 4 teams are going to make the playoffs. 1 will play 4, 2 will play 3 in the semis on Wednesday, the 15th. Those games I think will be right in a row. And then the finals will be on Saturday, the 18th. I imagine that all 3 of those will be on CBS Sports. Have they confirmed that? I don't know. Why I'm thinking that is because I saw in the contract that CBS Sports committed to at least 10 matches from PVF this season, and they have announced 7 matches in the regular season. So that's why I assumed 8, 9, 10 in that contract would be the 3 playoff games. So yeah, we're going to Omaha. I've seen a lot of, I mean, we're not going. They're going.
The league's going.
The league is going to, we collectively as fans are going to watch from Omaha. I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, it's not fair. It's a home court advantage for Omaha. What do you think about that? Because
wild. You know what this sparked me to think about? I know we're talking about NCAA. This is not professional sports, but I don't know if this was true for other conferences, but in my conference, if you won conference, you hosted the conference tournament the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you get a home advantage for being successful. Like, you got rewarded for being successful a year later.
Right.
And
in this instance, it's the first year.
Yeah.
Omaha hasn't done anything except, bring 12,000 people consistently to watch. I also think, from the perspective of it's a home court advantage, yes, they've played there more, but everybody is new to this. It might not feel quite like home yet. And honestly, I think when we think about what the fan is into, Omaha loves good volleyball. I think they'll be loud and excited, kind of. It's not like we've built up a Celtics level, a Miami Heat level fandom for the Supernovas quite yet.
Yeah.
I think it's best case scenario, really.
Yeah. People just need to calm down.
Cool it.
Looking
forward to that. We have heard a little bit more about what that $1 million championship winning situation is. Who's it for? The winning team will definitely be distributing that $1 million among, active players, the 14 people who are on the active roster for the championship game. To some extent, there will be an amount of that winnings that could go to injured players, practice squad, people that played at least half the season, plus a few people from coaching and player support staff. So we now know that that winning amount is really designed for players and people really close to the team, as opposed to anybody in the front office, which is just, one way to do it. And I think also focusing on the player compensation is a good thing at this stage.
Yeah. And I'm sure we won't get much more details than that.
No, but nice to know some of it,
Yeah, totally.
They keep floating that $1 million winning around.
They
and
do.
I was just,
Yeah.
want to say a little more. So that's what we've got for the championship. We're excited about it. Glad that they announced some things. As far as news that we've seen this week, it seems like Omaha season ticket holders will get first dibs. Season ticket holders of the other teams will get next dibs. And then it will go, sales of those 3 matches will go out to the general public.
Cool.
I think it might be the week of the April 8th.
That they go on
I
sale.
don't know if it's the 10th or the 12th. Anyway, keep an eye on the socials for when to buy your ticket so that you can get on over to Omaha and watch some playoff volleyball.
And eat some sushi.
And eat some good Omaha sushi. Recommended to you by Kelly. Okay, a few transaction things. I'll just run through them.
Yeah.
We also have been posting these on our Instagram story as soon as we see them, as soon as they happen. So follow Court Captains Pod for quicker updates if you're interested. What we did see was last week, Danielle Hart of Omaha went into season-ending injury status on
Sad.
transactions. She had been getting in there every once in a while as a middle. I did see that she had a concussion at some point. So I don't know if it's that as the season ending injury, but I'm thinking it could be for
Sure.
precautionary measures. So
Yeah, at this point in the season.
we don't like it. We hope she's healthy soon.
Yeah.
Something that I saw was posted on April 2nd
Yes.
about March 30th.
Yeah.
So this is what the PVF is doing sometimes.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like updating the website in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
go on April 2nd, I take a look. The first thing I see is that there's a new player on the Valkyries, Skylar
Yep.
Fields. This is exciting.
Mhm.
Skylar Fields, you know, the three of us don't know a lot about latest NCAA volleyball.
No, that is
We
true.
We haven't been keyed into that. We might be upcoming, but
Yeah.
what I personally learned about Skylar Fields is that she played at Texas. She graduated from Southern California, USC. Graduated from there in 23. Played in an Italian league for pro since I think October of 23, and now she has been signed to Orlando.
She's like, I want to come home.
I want to come home. Amy Pauley was likely one of her coaches at USC.
I'll do it.
Working on those connections,
Mhm.
Amy Pauley. Ian, what do you think of that?
Well, we talked about it last week that we were thinking they need to be making some tweaks before the trade deadline. So
Yeah.
it's good to see them doing so.
Yeah.
Are you developing more
We'll have to see.
respect for Amy Pauley?
I mean, we'll see how it works. You know,
We will. It seems like has played, she's a pin hitter. She's played opposite. She's played some outside, but it could be, she's played 6 rotations. So
Yeah.
that could be a big deal in terms of adding some of that skill to
Yeah.
Orlando's right side.
Which, as we know, Orlando doesn't like to change who they're playing.
Mm-mm.
So we'll see. Has she gotten in? I can't
No.
recall. No.
Not
okay.
yet.
Yeah.
Not as of early week 11. So I'm hopeful that we'll see her later in week 11. But yeah, and then as a result of that, Melissa Evans was waived, which is a bummer. She was an early signing to Orlando, but
Yeah, and she played some.
here and there. But she, you know, as we've talked about, Orlando sticks with a similar lineup, so she only got in now and then.
they were talking about that on a couple of the telecasts this week. They're like, jobs are on the line
Yeah.
in all
Yeah.
of these games.
Yeah.
Ominous.
Well, when Shina was injured, maybe she got in a few. Yeah,
A little
that's what
more.
I'm.
That could
That's
be.
what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Before Azani Taylor was signed, I bet.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, so we know we've got a couple more weeks for trade deadline, so we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I saw on the transactions page on April 2nd was for the
Yep.
Vegas update, it said Kylie Murr was injured and another libero was brought up.
And this was documented on our Instagram story. I think it's probably expired by now,
Yes, but
but
I
you have
posted
the
it,
you have the receipts.
quite literally. I have the receipts. A few players saw it. A coach or two saw it, including a couple Vegas players. And when I refreshed a few hours later, I'm going to say 3 hours after I posted, it was gone from the transactions page.
What
So,
did you do, Nikki?
I don't know what that's about. Did I accidentally tell someone that Kylie Murr was injured? I don't
Well,
know.
it was a big topic of discussion that night in the chat.
Yes.
It was the where's Asia of the evening.
Yeah.
Wait, so
yes.
did Kylie?
She didn't play.
I think I missed that one. Oh,
She didn't play on Saturday.
Didn't play on Saturday, and nobody knew what had happened. And then during the telecast, they mentioned that she tweaked her knee that morning, but I don't know that they made it seem like her knee just didn't feel up to it that morning. It didn't sound like it was going to be a long-term thing, but
Well, and so Madison Schermerhorn was the libero that they moved to active, or it said it. I mean, I don't know. And she played at Purdue, graduated in 23. So did she play on Saturday? That game y'all were talking about? Did
No.
you see who libero was?
Megan Jemison. Yes.
Megan Jemison played, and she was definitely on active. She has been on active roster for Vegas for a while.
Correct.
So that's interesting. I don't know. I imagine they're ironing out some kinks, maybe.
Yeah.
But we talked last week about how it can be a stressful thing. It can be maybe not stressful, but a more final thing than you would think to move someone onto active, because you can only have 14 spots. So if you move them back down, you're making them
Yeah.
to
I
the
mean,
rest of the
injury
league.
is probably different, but
Yeah.
Either way, it's gone now. So maybe Kylie's fine and we'll see her again this week. Madison is on the Vegas website roster. There are 16 people on that roster. So like to the point about like removing people, I less mean for the injured people and more for Madison. Because if she officially gets moved from practice squad to active and then gets waived, if she's not a rookie, she can't move back to practice squad, which like maybe she is a rookie. But the point is like there's that move back and forth we've determined is more complicated than we thought. And so maybe that was unintentional from Coach Fran. Okay, well, those are some injury things. I also have a bit of gossip.
yes.
The first, and again, I would say that all of this is truly, truly gossip. It's chat gossip. It's Reddit gossip. I can't confirm nor deny. But what we're hearing is potentially Nia Reed from Omaha signed with a pro team in Brazil for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's great. I think she hasn't been getting a ton of playing time on Omaha. It's been a little up and down. So not super shocked by that. I hope it's exactly what she wants. If it does come to pass, that is something I heard. The second thing I heard is that Lazareva is going to go to the Turkish league next year.
Wow.
Again, gossip. But someone in the chat said it has been widely reported over here in Europe that Lazareva is going to the Turkish league. So
wow, that's kind of wild that hasn't gained any traction here.
I know.
Except in a YouTube chat.
I guess sports media doesn't care about PVF that much.
I mean,
yet.
I'm sure it's a money thing.
Oh yeah, Turkey's good too. That league is really good.
Yeah.
We'll see. The last thing that I heard, I believe that Emilia Dimitrova gave a post-game interview last week where she said that she's going to retire after this year. So we know she's had a very long professional career.
Yeah.
We know her husband, is an assistant coach on the Grand Rapids Rise. So it's possible she'll stay in...
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's possible she'll stay in the mix as a part of this organization, but it sounds like she's ready to say that her career has been good. And I get it. One of those mid-30s players.
Yeah.
Early to mid-30s players. And that kind of leads into a quick conversation I wanted to have about the tiredness of these teams.
You know, okay, it's funny that you talk about like mid-30s players. And as I was watching this week, nothing became more apparent than who the mid-30s players were.
You thought so?
Yeah,
You didn't think everyone was tired?
No.
Okay. She's got an opinion.
I don't know. Definitely just noticing people being tired.
Yeah. And I think that there are players that get a shit ton of swings in these matches. Middles play half the game. Setters run around. Liberos run around.
Yeah.
Like when
the middles looked ready to go.
The middles looked fresh. And good for them.
Yeah, as they should.
Take your break, stop sweating, and then get back in there and start up again. I mean, I think that it's a conversation that is begging to be had as we are at the beginning of the second half of the season and we see more sweeps than all season.
Sure.
Yeah.
Combined, I would say. There's no mid-season break like a lot of other leagues have. And everyone's fully going now. What I've noticed too is like we saw some teams get breaks. So like Columbus had a 9-day break. And then they played 4 matches in 9 days. Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Omaha had a 12-day break. And then they played 4 matches in 7 days. Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. And what happened to each of them in the final? They got swept. Like it's just kind of it feels very obvious to me that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Schedule loss.
And hopefully it's a first year schedule thing where we've seen some kooky schedules. Maybe they'll get that sorted out for next year. But I would like to officially put forth my suggestion for next year's scheduling setup.
All right, let's hear it.
I have a solution, and I'm going to say that it's ironclad. I think that if there are 10 teams, as we believe there are, it would be so easy to do an East Conference and a West Conference. 5 teams in each. So East would be all the Eastern time zone girlies, Atlanta, Columbus, Grand Rapids, Orlando, and Indianapolis will be the new one next
Did
year.
you say Dallas in there?
No.
Oh, you said East Coast.
Dallas is going to be easier to fly to the West Coast. They do that. West Conference would be San Diego, Vegas, Omaha. I know, Omaha, Central Time Zone. But still, Dallas and Kansas City. And what I would suggest is that all 5 of those teams play each other a handful of times.
I just think like 5 teams to have that set up is a little too little teams.
But it's just about that you play those teams 6 times and you play the other teams 2 times.
Oh, okay.
It's not that you never play the other conference. It's just more infrequent.
But then playoffs wise, trips. Do you go the top 2 from each conference or just the top 4 teams of the whole league?
You go top 3 from each. The number ones get a bye.
Whoa.
2 plays 3, 2 plays 3. Yeah. 1 plays winner. Winners play each other.
That makes sense. Because obviously this whole schedule is a result of arena scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can't get it to work better for the teams, then they should absolutely consider that. You know what I mean? If they can get it to work where every team plays each other, I don't know if they'll go down to 3 with the increased number of teams. Everyone plays each other 3 times or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
we could see.
The issue still remains that like a lot of times when we're seeing people really sort of suffer is like the one night in between 2 matches.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, honestly, I mean, for playoffs, it's going to be Wednesday to Saturday. That's not terrible. And they're all going and they're going to be staying in Omaha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not awful.
No, and that should be the ideal in a big way, you know, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So that's my big hypothesis. PVF, if you're listening, food for thought.
Yeah. But yeah, people are looking tired.
I do a lot of jumping when I'm at home watching this game. Sympathetic jumping.
Okay.
We got a lot of matches to talk about. Let's get into it.
Week
10, baby.
Tuesday, March 26th, we had Grand Rapids at Vegas. Ian, hit us with those scores.
They were in Vegas, and they did pretty good. They held off a little late Vegas push in the 4th set, but they took it in 4. Grand Rapids won the first set 25-22. They dropped the second to 24-26. They looked really good in the 3rd set, 25-17, and then won a very close 4th, 30-28 to take the match in 4.
Thrilling.
Was.
All pretty close.
Yeah.
So here are some thoughts that I had. Kat Bell moved to the outside.
Oh.
In exchange for Hannah Maddox in the 4th, and Saskia Hippa came in. I thought that was a very good coaching move because Kat Bell played great over on the outside when she's normally been playing right side lately, and it was a good matchup with Dimitrova.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Dimitrova is usually the go-to. Yeah. So I thought that was in large part what made it interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough, but
yeah,
I liked that. Berkeley Oblad played excellent, had some really great blocks and slides. Kylie was still playing in this game. I thought she had great defense. I was also impressed with Kenna Sauer's passing. Those are my observations from the Vegas side. I didn't think this was a bad match for them.
No,
it doesn't look like it.
They had some hitting errors issues, I think, especially in those closer sets that hurt a little bit. It was a little bit of a theme for them this week, I think.
I will say we had our nice little prediction last week where we thought Simone Abbott was maybe going to be taken out, and that did indeed happen. Shan Scully.
Pretty good first set though.
Yeah.
But it came apart. It came apart in the 2nd set. I wrote that down in my notes. Claire Chaussee swinging constantly from all over, which was cool. I did write Simone had a good first set. It really came apart in the 2nd. And Shannon Scully was in the 3rd, and then I think played much of the rest of the week.
Yep.
Dimitrova was obviously so impressive. Once again, though, very little middle usage.
Yeah. Can we set the middles?
Consider this our official request
to
the Grand Rapids Rise.
You're telling me she only gets 11 sets?
It's not ideal. What else did I write? This match.
Disgusting. They shut Hannah Maddox down, which is.
Yeah.
She was hitting negative coming out of the game. As many hitting errors as kills, basically. So
Yeah.
that's tough.
It is tough.
The match felt really close to me the whole time. Anytime there was a run, the other team like found a way to get tied or like get back in there. There were a couple runs here and there, but I felt like really quickly those were remedied. And the fourth set, I was thinking a lot about how I was connecting it to tennis a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when you do in tennis like deuce, and then there's advantages one up and the other way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like 1 point away from winning. And then if you don't have the advantage, you're 3 points away from winning, which is exactly what volleyball is. You have to win by 2 in in that final moment. And there were moments when a team was trailing by 1. They were one away from winning.
The most disadvantage that they could have.
Oh, right. Yes. So there
at
was
that point.
There were moments when one team was trailing by 1, and so they were the most possibly disadvantaged. And then there was one team that was up by 1, and they were so close. And just like they couldn't get it. The team that was 1 point away just could never get it done.
That's my biggest observation with Thrill is that it doesn't seem like they have good defense in transition. They get a really good first shot at it, maybe even a second shot of it. And then the second, like that third ball that comes over, it just drops to the ground. I don't know what it is. If it was maybe my team, I'd be like, time to condition. You guys need to learn how to withstand these transitions longer. I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's something that just has to be worked on in practice, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And there are teams that are very good at pushing when you're down 1 or pushing the final when you're up 1. Atlanta Vibe is definitely one of them.
Yep.
But I felt like when we get those games that are to 30, it's interesting to see how often it's just you get a point, you get a point, you get a point, you get a point, versus
but the second
someone tying and going above and then not finishing it that way, right? Like this was a climbing one where they could string a couple in a row, but they couldn't get the most important final one.
Wow.
Both teams.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids found a way in the end, but
just like throwing this out there for the rest of these match discussions, like I think with having so many matches, it was really hard to think about who we would have nominated for Player of the Week. Obviously, at this point, we are recording after the fact. We know that Sydney Hilly did get Player of the Week, but not saying that she didn't deserve it. I'm like honestly shocked that anyone could come to any sort of conclusion because there were so many matches.
Yeah.
But I am interested in y'all's opinion. If just looking at this match, if you had to nominate someone for consideration, who would you have chosen?
Part of me would say Cat Bell, even though they lost. She she was the one they had to go to all the time. She had 60 plus attempts.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work. I don't know if it's Player of the Week, but it's like most worked Player of the Week, Cat Bell.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably true.
Maren Grote hit 560.
Yeah, 3 blocks.
On 16 attempts, which again, that's not
Toss
a lot
an ace
of
in there.
attempts. That's really not a lot of attempts, but the efficiency would make her a contender for me.
Honestly, like looking at the stats, I'm not sure I really see a standout. Oh, trick question. You could also say no one.
We'll get to talking about Atlanta in the next game, but like it's hard stats wise to give it to someone from Atlanta because they just like
I know.
They didn't have to try that hard.
They're so good.
Wednesday the 27th, we had Columbus at Atlanta. You know what I'm going to say. Swappy rematch.
Yeah, well, Atlanta started one of those weeks we were talking about earlier. They played 3 times in 6 days, but they had a strategy for it, which is just to win the matches in 3 sets. You know, that makes the one day off in between a little bit easier to handle. So they won the first set 25-16 in front of the home crowd, then 25-15 in the second set, and then they let it dip a little bit, 25-17 in the third set. It might be, I don't know, it's close to the most dominant win we've had thus far up to that point. There's a couple more of them later in the week, but
they were out for blood.
3 sets, they had 12 blocks, and they hit 370.
I was shocked by this result.
It was messed up.
Yeah.
Columbus just beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
In
they
four.
said, "Oh, Asia, you got player of the week and you're the reason why like you had an amazing game against us. We're going to shut you down."
We're going to finish that up.
Yeah.
It was a no contest.
Yeah. The biggest thing I noticed is that while the stats might not show it, there were some key blocks. At one point, there were 3 blocks in a row in the first set.
Yeah.
That just propelled Vibe into winning that first set. And it was, I mean, Atlanta, they did have 12 blocks in a 3-set match, which it actually is pretty amazing. But
yeah, it was pretty massive. Just like that, like Nikki was talking about the last game, like any semi-run Columbus started to go on.
Yeah.
It was pretty much instantly stuffed back in their face. So
and Columbus tried a bunch of different things.
Yes.
Tried a bunch of different people. We did see Nicoletta Perovic come in.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go great.
No.
I mean, but what do I expect? She just got here. Like,
yeah.
I'm not necessarily expecting.
I like that Fury was making changes.
Mm-hmm.
I also wrote Fury got to get that right side situation fixed.
Really,
I don't know,
really and truly.
Like Samantha Drexel had some amazing games at the beginning of the season, but it's just not working.
They tried Caitlin Horde in the middle at the beginning and then Raynell Jones in the third set. Yeah, I mean, they tried different things. Percent positive passing was 45 for Columbus. Perfect was 16, but they got blocked 12 times.
Yeah. They're hitting, they're hitting win 120. Yeah, that looks like when you lose a 3-set match. That's what that looks like.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you've said, Ian, like it didn't even look like Atlanta was trying that much. And what I'll also say that I've maybe said before is that Atlanta's chemistry looks great. They look like they really like each other.
Yep.
I'm not saying that other teams look like they don't like each other, but you know when you can just see that a team is having fun together?
They are gelling so well.
The personalities are with it.
Yeah. At one point I was watching them. I'm like, they're so good. It's honestly amazing that they've lost.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where like they do feel like they have, like Leah Edmond didn't have a great game, so they just go other places.
Try something else. Yeah.
Like, and it works for them, and they look really comfortable doing that pretty regularly. So
shout out 4 players with double-digit kills.
Yep. Amazing.
That's my recipe.
Yeah, Lekatar had an amazing match.
Mm-hmm.
She was very fun to watch. She
passed great too. Jeez.
Yep.
67% positive, 33% perfect.
She would have been my nomination for Player of the Week if we didn't already know the answer to that question.
This was one of those matches where, okay, actually, Anna doesn't usually pass, right?
She
hides.
No, yeah, she
So
hides.
those 3 passers seem to be really getting along with each other. LMM, Leah, Edmond, and Morgan Hens. Like it's always them 3. It's something we've talked about before where they're like comfy with it being them 3 in the back. And it's nice to have a right side who can pass also in case something goes wrong there. Which is why I think that Orlando's new opposite will be good to have in the mix. But in Atlanta's case, those 3 seem to be vibing together. It's too easy. Thursday, the 28th, we had Grand Rapids at Omaha.
Yeah, this was another one where the team that won somewhat surprisingly won the long sets. I guess it makes sense. Omaha took the first set 27-25, dropped the second 20-25, won the third 30-28, and then finished it off 25-22. So a couple extra time sets in there.
Yeah, I wrote that Sydney Hilly was very impressive this match to me. Now we know, Player of the Week.
Yeah.
I think that Jess Shaven-Landsman had a great match.
Yeah.
Her hitting percentage was just okay at 140, but her back row and back row attacking was very present.
I felt that as well.
Love it when the right side is like super reliable on defense. Omaha just looks so confident.
Yeah. I wrote Brooke is just so good.
Unreal defense from Brooke.
Yeah. And she has like she had these couple cut shots that I was like, whoa. You go, girl.
And in that first set, Grand Rapids was up the entire time. But then Omaha still took it at the very, very end. Goes back to what we were talking about, like in those final moments, Grand Rapids doesn't always seem to like know what to do to get the final couple points. Also, when Omaha won the first set, they played the Blackhawks song, which is what I call it. It's not their
Chelsea
Love a
Dagger.
Love Chelsea Dagger, thank you. By is it the Fratellis? Is that
I think so.
Is that the music group?
Fratellis?
I think it's brothers in Italian, Kelly. But we do appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a jam. Omaha is very good at tipping. I thought Jess and Betty in this match especially did a great job. And how I know that
Betty, her like strong tip. So impressive.
Shoves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the one hand.
It's pretty amazing.
How I know that I haven't played sixes in a long time is that sometimes when they do it, I'm watching and I say, "Oh, no open hand tips. That's not allowed." It's not that they can't do that. But like, of course they can do that. It's in all of our like 3s and 4s casual leagues that you're not allowed to open hand tip. You have to like get a hit on it, Ian, or you have to like knucks.
Yeah. Or
but you can't.
You can do a.
Or like,
pokey.
maybe pokey. But like, you can't do these like beautiful open hand tips because it's like too easy to go short on someone when there aren't 6 people defending. But anyway, I remember that many times during this match, I was like, "Oh, Jess.
Oh, you messed up.
Oh, you can't do that. Oh, not allowed. Catch it." No.
That third set too. The third set was the 30-28 one. That one stood out to me. Just because Omaha hit 400 in that set.
Yeah.
It was pretty close. You know, I think both of them hit in the 200s. Both teams did for the match, but in the intensely close overtime set, they were pretty consistent. 22 of 42.
Yeah, I thought Tori. It's fun when she gets set as well. She has some good slides. I would like to have a short little segment I will call Kelly being a little bit of a bitch. And,
bring it on.
And talking shit about people's hair.
Oh, let's go.
Boom.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I just want to start this off by I respect all of you so much. And I think that you're all amazing players.
And just to also throw it out there, I'm bald. So like I feel like I can take shots.
Yeah, also my hair looks kind of like shit right now. Okay, I got a really weird haircut. The girl insisted that it would look good, but there's like too much bang going on. It's not great. Okay.
I think your hair looks nice, Kelly.
Thank you. But I do. And Paige Briggs, can you pull your hair back when you play?
Those front pieces just like hanging,
please.
It worked to this game for the.
I know.
500.
My literal comment is impressed by Paige Briggs, but how do you play with hair and face?
But like, would that be a thing where like if you went in for a game, you're just like, I've got a braid this time, and then you hit 500, you kind of feel like you got to have the braid.
Yeah,
100%.
That's very real. I'm the least superstitious person, but I understand why people feel those things. That was really my only hair comment that was negative. I will say that I think that Kendall White's hair is always top notch. She like puts bows in there, and I really enjoy that. And she always does like a fun braid thing. And also Jess Shaven Landsman also always does French braids. Apparently I just looked at Omaha's hair.
Well, that's some good shit. Thank you, Kelly, for your perspective. Now I'm going to talk about jerseys.
Oh,
okay.
Let's hear it.
Grand Rapids had some beautiful red long sleeve jerseys in this match.
Yeah.
I don't think they've worn them before. I really love them.
I don't think I'd seen them either.
They're really bright red. What I would like to mention is that Ashley was wearing a no sleeve jersey.
So
first, I guess we see what her preferences are. She needs to be free flowing, pits. However, I didn't know you could Ian like that one. I didn't know that you could like wear whatever type of sleeve you felt like, but it was 4 players with long sleeves. Obviously, Sarah Sponsel was wearing a navy no sleeve, and then Ashley Evans was wearing a no sleeve red jersey.
Yeah, do you think that's actually allowed, or she just forgot her jersey?
It must be
I think you
allowed.
could probably request.
Well, and
You
like
never
Kat Bell
know.
always wears a long sleeve underneath the no sleeve jerseys that everybody else is wearing. So like there seems to be some level of, but that's not a different jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just an
Wow.
accessory.
Wow.
It's an accessory. I'm
I can't
intrigued
believe I
by
didn't
this.
notice.
Yeah, it stuck out to me immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? I have something in my notes. I have two more things in my notes. One is I'm wondering about Claire Chaussee and what I call the MLB pitcher effect. So
She's getting dead
my
armed.
understanding of major league pitchers is that they get there and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so good. No one's ever seen my stuff. And then immediately, I mean, not immediately, but soon, everyone knows what your stuff is.
Yeah.
And so you're not as successful in those first couple matches. I mean, games, they're baseball games. Those first couple baseball games, those first couple weeks. Maybe they have a great season and then they don't have as good of a season the next time. And I'm wondering if Claire Chaussee is experiencing the MLB pitcher effect because we were all wowed by her in the first few matches. And while, of course, she's been swinging from everywhere, she's really athletic, she's jumping high. I don't feel like I've had that feeling in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
there's a lot
is
of.
she getting
I don't know.
scouted?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what their data operations are like,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
there's
yeah.
tape now. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
They got people watching it. They know what she likes to do.
And every player has tendencies, whether they like to admit it or they don't.
Yeah. So just was curious what you thought about that. Maybe keep an
It's
eye
an
out.
interesting
see what you think.
observation.
My second thing was that in this match, I thought that Grand Rapids was doing this thing on defense. And how I identified it is because I do it sometimes, where they do all the work with their feet. They read it, they get there, they go, oh my gosh, I'm here with my feet. And then they just get nervous and do something crazy with their hands. And it's just like I did. And when I would coach, I'd be like, you did all the work. You got there. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm here. And you just like flail your arm or like throw a fist out there and like punch it and it goes all over the place. So that was something that happened in this match a few times. They just got to relax, trust themselves. Friday the 29th, we had Orlando at Columbus.
Orlando, they heard all the talk about Columbus making all the roster moves, looking for that fourth playoff spot. They came out and just obliterated them. So Columbus, for the second match in a row, got swept. They did not make it to 20 points in a set this week. This game, they hosted Orlando. They lost. Orlando took the first set 25-19. That was as close as it got. They won the second 25-15 and the third 25-17 to complete the sweep. They did not have the blocks that Atlanta had in their game against Columbus. They had the aces this time, 10 aces in 3 sets. They hit 390.
I mean,
they had it working.
Yeah. Fury,
we were talking.
They passed like shit.
Yeah, they did.
They passed
we were talking about Orlando
poorly.
not changing their lineup, and guess what happened here? We saw a new lineup.
Yeah.
We saw Abby Hansen in the middle and Carly Scott on the outside.
Yeah, Jill did not play, which was...
I don't know if I have any strong sentiments about that. Load management.
Yeah, I don't think it was a performance issue.
Just trying something else.
Yeah.
It worked. They all hit really well.
This was one of the best games I think that we've seen from Shaina.
Yes. 14 digs.
Yeah, I feel like we've been kind of like waiting for her to really shine. And she did. She played
led
great.
The team in digs.
I mean, the whole everyone hit so well on Orlando.
With Wilma back to setting, I did hear the announcers talking about how the week prior she was having some back pain.
Yes.
So.
Well, she tossed 6 aces in.
Jeez.
Wow. Her serve is crazy. Her serve is crazy. Every once in a while they do like a slow-mo and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to pass that either.
Yeah.
She's a lefty, isn't she? So she's doing that jump top spin. I'm pretty sure she's...
Yeah, and she does gets a spin on it. It's... Yeah.
Okay, so there has been some chat about how we need to make up a drinking game for watching these matches, and it is on my list of things to do because I think that would be a very fun thing to chat about. But we have 7 games to talk about this week, so I'm not gonna get into it. But one of the things that will definitely be on the list is drink when they talk about Tori Stringer's dad.
Oh my God.
Every game. We get it. He was a professional football.
Do we get it?
Apparently, it didn't stick with me, so maybe they do need to keep reminding me. But do I care? Not really.
No, you don't care. That's
No.
what it is, and we don't care.
Yeah.
No. Football player went to a Super Bowl or two. Ian, is that?
He is perhaps known as one of the worst Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Shut up.
So
See, they leave out those fun tidbits when they're bringing them up.
And Ian is here to bring them to you.
Hey, and like Kelly said earlier, I respect you so much, Taylor. Like, I love football, and like, you know, you're the guy people talk about when they're like, you don't have to have Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like that as a drinking game activity. We can keep collecting those.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Columbus was so fucking tired, man.
Yeah. They were riding that high last week from Atlanta's win, and then they
took the opposite strategy to Atlanta.
They stumbled.
They also decided 3-set matches would be beneficial for the legs. They lost them instead of winning.
It's like you either win in 3 or lose in 3, but that's it. We're not gonna
gotta get out of here.
Totally.
All right, time for the Saturday matches. We had 2. They were at the same time. Yeah. First up, Vegas at Omaha on Saturday, March 30th.
This was me in the chat. Woo!
Ian's chat debut.
We talked about jeans. We talked about, I don't know, lots of stuff. It was good. It was good because we were talking about things other than the volleyball because doubleheader competing, we got 6 sets out of it. The first one, Vegas in Omaha. Omaha made pretty light work of it. 25-19 in the first set, 25-17 in the second. Finished it off 25-21 in the third. They hit 210. Not the craziest hitting game we saw this week, but Vegas hit 60. So 210 was plenty to get the job done.
Yeah.
It was so much.
Plenty.
It was plenty enough.
I think a bigger thing about this game is that it was Ian's chat debut.
That's the most important
That's
thing
what we need to be talking about right at the top. And as part of this chat debut, I want to highlight some comments that he made.
Yeah, throw it out there.
Because they're really enjoyable, and I hope that we all keep supporting him and his chatting endeavors.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so number 1, do we buy our jeans ripped, or are we more of a rip your own jeans crew?
See, this is important.
You're just owning the chat.
Well, yeah, because they were talking about some regular appearer in the crowd in one of these games, and you know she's got ripped jeans. Apparently, didn't see her.
Yeah,
you know, I don't see that type of stuff.
Yeah,
so I'm not like Kelly. I'm not looking at people being like, God, their hair looks like shit. Their clothes are garbage. But you know, sometimes like my wife, I asked her afterwards, like, what are you going with? Do you go with pre-weathered stuff? Because it is, you know, it's fashionable.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, rip your own shit. This used to be America.
Yeah.
We rip our own stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what you can get. That's what you can get in the chat.
Yeah.
We can talk about these things.
Yeah. Wait, so I have more. That was definitely my favorite. That was the one that like sparked me to even like write anything down. Number 2, I don't even know what this was in response to, but you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm all about some Excel workbooks.
Yeah. I think somebody else was talking about because the Discord is always being shouted out, and there's sometimes people are shouting out their own, you know, personal data collection sites that they're using to kind of consume PVF.
Yeah.
We like all that. We like data.
We do like data.
I'm big into it.
And then finally, someone asked you, how's it going? This was like later in the match. I don't like,
you know, checking in.
Yeah, they're
mental
checking
health
in.
check.
And you said it's going good, hoping for more than 6 sets tonight, though.
Didn't get it.
And you didn't get it. Yeah.
That
wasn't like that funny, I guess. But,
wow. Okay. I gotta punch up my stuff.
Yeah.
It was insightful.
If you could, yeah.
Because that's all we got.
More than anything, it was a quick shift because both games pretty much ended at the exact same time in 3 sets. I was gonna flip over to the other one, didn't have time to. Ended in the same way. We've been talking a little bit about load management,
Yep.
Betty De La Cruz, she came in just for a quick moment there in this game. She pretty much sat the whole day. They didn't need her. They were
They
saving her
didn't.
for their Tuesday game.
And Paige Briggs got to play here.
I mean, that was the one thing that Thrill I thought did well. They were very good at the net. They usually are. That I
Mhm.
think with 13 blocks and 3 sets, but they couldn't overcome the hitting problems.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we're still not seeing Molly McCage back.
Yeah, don't know. It's the new Asia.
Is it your hypothesis that Lane Van Buskirk and Berkeley Oblad just like took her spot, like just solidified themselves as the middles for the job, or do you think she's still healing something?
I would assume that maybe it would be different if Berkeley Oblad and Van Buskirk weren't playing as well. That
Yeah.
maybe, they've already tried to bring her back once. It didn't stick. Obviously something happened. So I think it would make sense that they're just taking it slow.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Either way, Thrill does not win at home.
No.
1-6.
What the vibes are bad, apparently.
Something's going
Maybe
on
some
over
late-
there.
Everyone
Some
was like,
late nights on the strip, you know.
everyone was
They're just-
begging for the championship to be in Vegas.
They were.
And
They're
I'm like,
it's cheap to fly there. Okay.
I'm like, but it's not centrally located. It's actually really expensive. Like, I don't
Kelly's managing the logistics in her head, and it's not adding up.
know. No.
They don't have the sushi
It's a good-
that Omaha
it's-
has.
Great place for a conference.
Not as great for sushi compared
Great
to Omaha.
for,
Not-
honestly, I'm sure the Super Bowl was really fun there this year.
Yeah, that's probably the right fit. Maybe next time, y'all. Speaking of sweeps,
Speaking of sweeps,
vibe at Mojo.
Vibe and
Yep.
Mojo.
They brought Mojo all the way to Atlanta just to obliterate them.
Oh, it was in Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, no, they flew them across the country. Atlanta continues the juice from their last game. Another sweep, their second of the week. They won the first set 25-15, the second 25-17. Then the third, it was a little closer, 25-21. Another day hitting over 300.
Yeah.
While your opponent is hitting just over 100. So
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta looked amazing.
The way that Marley is
Yeah,
just in the flow.
she really
She's in the
is.
pocket.
Yep.
I don't know.
she's
what that means,
repaying
actually.
the franchise's confidence in her.
She really is. I mean, she deserves to be
Yeah.
right there. She's playing good defense. She is an active, or at least believably, potentially active person in the attack, right? Like
Yep.
they
Mhm.
think
She
that
doesn't
maybe she could
always-
throw the ball over.
Yeah. Again, another amazing game from Lekator. Like I said,
Yeah, 420.
thought she was gonna get player of the week, but I digress.
Yeah, they didn't even need to get double-digit kills to get this done, Atlanta.
Nope.
Nope.
They passed pretty good, 49% positive, 22% perfect.
Yeah.
But
Whereas
it just seems like
yeah.
Mojo didn't pass as well, didn't hit as well. They hit 120. Switched a lot of things around, though. At least when these teams are not winning sets, they are changing things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
So, like, some middle switch-ups. Hannah Tap came out in the first for Allison Bastianelli. Valeria Papa came out in the first for Kendra Dahlke.
Mm-hmm. We're still seeing some amazing things from Temmie on the right side.
Temmie for president.
Yeah, totally.
She gets it done truly, like, all the time.
She got a biomedical engineering degree from Northwestern. I learned.
Damn.
I know. I was like, okay.
I'm doubling down on Temmie for president.
And then she went to grad school and played at Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Nothing better.
Yeah.
I feel
Yep.
like the Allison Bastianelli hit well on her 10 attempts. Ronica Stone didn't end up getting it done, but they didn't really have the passing for the middle. I still maintain that I think it's partially because so many of the other setters either aren't setting the middles, and I don't know why, or can't set the middles because their passing isn't there, or don't want to set the middles because their outsides or right sides are so solid. Could be any of those things. But what I'll say about TomCom is that she sets the middles literally as much as possible.
Yep.
I've said before, I love a middle set from the floor.
Yep.
I think Alicia Glass-Childress also forces her middles, I would say, in like a good
Yeah,
way, right? Like makes that more
Like-
that riskier set
We would like Ashley Evans to maybe do that.
a little more risk would be cool.
Yeah.
A little more force would be cool in there.
Yes.
But like I love to see Tom come really consistently. Like the ball's coming out of her hands really quickly. We've said before that could be because she's a bit of a shorter setter. But in this instance, like I didn't even feel like there were many attempts for anyone except the outsides.
Yeah.
Lindsay Van Der Weide with 31 attempts.
Yeah, and she didn't have a great game, which really hurt them.
And then Tammy on the right side had 23 attempts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can be really tough when you're not passing.
Yeah.
To where even TomCom can't find a middle, you know?
Yep.
And that seems to be what their sauce is. You know, they do well when they can set the middles.
Yeah, definitely.
Final match. We had
Final match.
Monday, the Fools of April, Atlanta at Grand Rapids.
I mean, damn. Atlanta
Yeah.
decided to change it up this game. And they won in 4 sets, but they threw in a little sauce in their second set, which we'll get to. So they won the first set 25-23, close. They won the second set 25-10.
Whoa.
So no sweep, but their best set of the week in that one. Then they lost the third set, 18-25, and then won another 2-point set in the fourth set, 25-23. A little dip in their hitting percentage this game because of a kind of rough third set that they lost. They still hit 260.
Yeah.
Rise hit 140.
Wow. I mean, honestly, good for Rise coming out of the intermission with that win after losing 25-10. They obviously had something to prove. There was probably some anger, and they used it to their advantage. Obviously, they couldn't completely turn it around, but 25-10 is rough.
I mean, it's gotta feel good, even with the loss, to come out and be like, well,
yeah,
all those other 3 sets were really good. You know, they lost the first and fourth sets, but they were close. Just that second set really didn't go well.
So I gotta be honest, it's like Atlanta just played 2 matches this week. They were both sweeps. Why on earth would you play your other players? Start your other players. Do you agree?
Well, Grand Rapids is like in third right now.
I know, but
they mixed it up.
So
they mixed it up in like last week, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that. They put in like the whole bunch almost. They didn't do that this week. I hear you.
Yeah. I
But
don't know.
maybe everyone was in such good spirits and they like didn't even play that long from those sweeps.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because you feel like, you don't want to,
But like,
you don't want to fuck up the rhythm that you've got going. But at the same time, like, they're not in danger of losing a playoff spot or anything.
I guess if they were gonna do that, maybe they should have done it when they played Mojo.
Sure.
Well, and
I don't know. But it's like they're all professional athletes.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
I'm with you.
It's just
it
a little
could be a good idea.
Thank you. Anyway.
They have done it before. There must be a reason, right? Like especially if so I was gonna say these are teams, these are right side strong teams, right? It's a battle of the right sides. Amelia Dimitrova had 52 attempts. Anna Lazareva had 42. In a 4-set match, they led for sure. Ilya Edmond had 40.
She was really cooking.
She hit great. 450 on that. 21 kills, my God. But especially if Anna Lazareva's going, this coach might just be like, we're gonna set you while we've got you. I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got other middles to play and they've got other outsides to play. But I also kind of like giving LMM the nod this week. And it's possible that they're doing like a you try this week, right? You've got Ellie Linehan in the mix.
But it's like if you have 3 matches in a week.
No, I'm with you.
I don't know.
For Grand Rapids, it looks like Kayla Caffey came in for the 3rd and 4th in the middle instead of Alyssa Jensen. Once again, I would like to see Grand Rapids do something about this. I don't know necessarily if you need different middles. Like, I don't know. When I initially said that, I was like, make some trades, bro. But I don't know if that's what I'm asking for. Maybe I am. They've tried 3 middles consistently, and it's like, not.
Maren Grote really, she has some great kills.
Yeah.
She played really well earlier in the week too, but
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard. I don't know how teams feel about losing to Atlanta at this point. Like, this was
Yeah.
the closest game that Atlanta played this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the Rise, if you go out and be like, we're close. There's a couple 2-point sets in there. Things could have gone differently. And we just didn't hit well enough. I mean, they hit 140 and they
Yeah.
were in it still. So I don't know if you leave feeling like, hey, if we just invert more of these more of the attempts that we set up for ourselves, then
Yeah.
we're
You
there.
You think a Grand Rapids or an Orlando are gearing up for playing Atlanta differently than like for each other or for Columbus? Like there is so much parity and there's like gonna be a fight for third and fourth
Yeah.
that like no one would admit it. You go into it and you're just like, this isn't the one.
Yeah.
There are
that
only
we're gonna,
2
like-
teams in the league over 500.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Ian? Like compared to other sports, is that weird?
Not necessarily. It's tough just with the 7 teams, right? Like you would think the league is very close. Like this stretch of Atlanta games, specifically this week, is kind of the most dominant stretch we've seen since the last time they tore off like 4. That doesn't really happen in the league so far this season. I don't know. There's more sweeps right now than we've had all this year, and
Yeah.
it does feel like they're just they've got their stuff figured out right now.
Mm-hmm. I do want to amend my previous statement and say that the last 2 times that Grand Rapids and Atlanta have played each other, Grand Rapids won. So, okay, I understand why Atlanta played the players that they needed to play.
Yeah, that's a good point. Grand
I
Rapids has taken
did not consider
2
that.
of the 3 losses that Atlanta has had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So fair. Atlanta does have 4 losses, but 2 of the 4. But
My bad.
So I want to amend my previous statement and say that they should have mixed it up against Mojo. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
I mean, it's also
Thank you for that amendment.
Like Shelley Fanning had 3 blocks. She had 6 other touches at the net. Like they were, they had 11 blocks, which wasn't a ton more than the Rise, but they had 21 other touches at the net that'll win you those games.
All right. Let's close it out. So, what we've got going on for week 11 that we'll talk about next week. Tuesday, April 2nd, Omaha at San Diego. Thursday, the 4th, we've got Columbus at Omaha. Saturday, the 6th, Orlando at Grand Rapids. And remember, that's on CBS Sports. So get out your devices, stream that shit on every device you have. If you have cable television, somehow, look for that. My guess is like, I'll watch it on YouTube TV or something like that. But I do think there's a couple streaming platforms that carry it. Ian, you
Paramount
said
Plus.
Paramount Plus, yeah.
Yeah, that's the CBS streamer.
Do a Google, etc. Sunday, April 7th, we've got Columbus at San Diego. That's the first time that they will play each other. So our final first meeting. And then Monday, the 8th, is Atlanta at Vegas.
All right.
Be interested to see how Columbus does.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to Court Captains, a volleyball podcast. Please give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you like what you're hearing. Support small podcasts. And if you don't like what you're hearing, then please go ahead and mind your business. Follow us on Instagram at CourtCaptainsPod and email us your questions or comments at courtcaptainspod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to be the captain of your own court.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good week.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.